6 relationship killers that you may not be thinking about. Now, whether you clicked on this video because you're currently in a relationship that's not thriving, wondering what happened to your last relationship, or don't want to screw up your next one, you're in the right place. And this isn't going to be your typical, oh, you're not giving them attention, oh, they cheated on you, oh, you know, whatever. These are going to be more of like these silent relationship killers. If you're new here, I'm Sarah, and I help teach people how to build a better, more happy, loving, fulfilling life through self-mastery and spirituality. So let's dive right in. Number 1, and this I cannot stress enough, and I see it in most relationships, not all, but many, and that is the need to be right. We often are very much within our ego when in relationships. And you have to look at what's more important, being right and being opponents, or being on the same team. Now, this doesn't mean just lying down and agreeing with the other person no matter what they say, but I'm talking about these like everyday little things. If you're talking about directions, or a time you have to leave the house to get somewhere, or what the capital of whatever state is. You know what I mean? Like these little things that you have conversations about throughout the day, every day, and you just nitpick and you have to be right, and you're pulling up Google and pulling up Siri, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I told you I was right. There is just no reason to be like that. And you have to think of, if you're doing these little nitpicky arguments every single day, that is going to accumulate over time. And not only that, but it minimizes the arguments or disagreements that actually do matter. Okay, it's kind of like if you're arguing and having to prove yourself to be right over these little things every single day, well then when these bigger issues come up that actually do matter, your partner or you or both are already going to naturally have their defenses up because they're so accustomed to arguing with you. Okay, and with already having to prove themselves to be right to you. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I just don't think, you know, you're right, but honestly, like, I don't really care. And you have to think about the thing that you are nitpicking about and having to prove that you're right about. Is it really that important? Like, does it really matter whether you or your partner is right on what the correct capital of a state is? Does it really matter if this route is gonna get you there 3 minutes earlier than the other route? Like, you have to look at the grand scheme of things and the importance of this disagreement is, and ask yourself, is it worth it to create distance between me and the person I love over this particular thing? And most of the times, it's not gonna be. Number 2, this one's maybe gonna ruffle some feathers, but it is what it is. And that is letting yourself go and letting yourself be complacent. So yes, I am talking about your physical appearance, but I'm also talking about your lack of growth mindset. So let's go down the physical appearance one first, because I know it's going to piss some people off, but like, it is what it is. No one, first of all, no one expects you to have the same appearance that you do at 25 as you are at 45, 55, 65. Like, come on. But if you are with someone and you are dating them, you're in a relationship for a few years, whatever it is, and you know, you're going to the gym 5 days a week and you're eating well, and you know, you like to get dressed up for them and put your best foot forward, sure, we're all going to have our bad days and our bad streaks in life, but you have to think of it from your partner's point of view, where they felt like, wow, this person, you know, really wants me to see the best in them, and then all of a sudden that's not happening anymore. They're not putting in that effort anymore. It's the effort behind it and wanting your partner to still desire you. It doesn't mean that your physical appearance is the most important thing in a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. It's a combination of lifestyle values and keeping the spark alive in your relationship. If you're someone that went from, like I said, working out 5 days a week, and now all of a sudden you haven't gone to the gym in 3 years, you can't expect your partner to have the same level of attraction to you as they did before. Are they maybe more mentally attracted to you and more in love with you because you're more comfortable together? Sure, of course that's possible. But if you stop doing the things that you were doing in the beginning, then yeah, they're not going to be as physically attracted to you, and that's not abnormal, and it's not to say it's shallow, but you just have to be on the same page with it. There's plenty of couples that maybe were working out a lot together and then they got away from it together, and in that sense, yeah, you're kind of on the same page, but lead by example. You know, if you want to start getting into shape and feeling your best and looking your best and feeling attractive, you know, like you were previously with your partner, why wouldn't you do those things? Now, on a deeper level, if you become completely stagnant in your relationship, you're not doing new things, you're not learning new things, you're not growing, your relationship is going to get stale, because you can only do the same things and talk about the same things so many times over the years. So if your relationship is feeling stale, it's probably because neither of you are learning or growing or doing new things, whether it's on your own or with each other. Number 3, and I cannot stress this one enough, it drives me insane, and it probably drives everyone around you insane. When a couple forms into one singular person, when each person loses their individuality, and you see it happen all the time, right? I'm sure you can think of a couple, maybe it is you, maybe it's someone else, where you won't do anything without the other person. It is so important to not lose yourself into a relationship. I forget where I heard this, but someone, I don't know, something, a book I read or a video I watched or something a long time ago, and it really stuck with me, and that is that you have person A, person B, and person C is the relationship. It's almost like it's its own third entity. And so what happens is you have person A, person B, and the relationship. When you form into one, you both lose who you are. You both, over time, will lose that spark. And again, going back to the last point, if you're never doing anything without one another, if you're not embarking on your own hobbies or hanging out with your own friends, what are you going to talk about? How boring is that to feel like you can't be who you are? Oh, let's get this deal. Hey, Rick.
What's up, Sarah?
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so they're obviously not going with your offer. So I'm having them sign it. I'm just crossing off the water inspection contingency. So if you can just initial on that end, and then also just initial that you're waiving it, and then it just the reply by date needs to be initialed, and the sale price date, or the sale price change, needs to be initialed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get that over to you shortly. Now, I just want to be upfront with it.
No, I appreciate that. I have no problem with that at all. Even if we like sign it for now and then we have to extend the settlement date later on, that's totally fine.
Very good. All right, sounds good. I will get this out to you.
Awesome. Look forward to working with you. I'm sorry about the frazzleness.
It's all good. All right, thank you.
All right, bye, Rick.
Bye.
We got the deal. We got the deal. We got the deal. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. Real estate doesn't wait for anyone. It's Saturday, but real estate never stops, and got the deal. I'm so excited. If you haven't checked out my Manifesting 101 like mindset video that I posted pretty recently, check that out just as a side note, because you'll understand why about getting that deal and where your mindset has to be. That's the 3rd deal I've gotten in the last 24 hours after a huge dry spell. So I don't know if I'm gonna include this part into the video, but so anyway, where were we? Real estate never never stops, but it's exciting because I just got a deal. Anyway, so we were talking about losing your individuality. You have to think of it as you're going to feel trapped. If you are only willing to do things that your partner is willing to do, you're going to miss out on a really big part of life. And that includes hobbies, interests, relationships with other people. Like your friendships will suffer if you're not able to make time for them, not just with your partner, but outside of your partner. I can't stress this enough. Do not lose who you are in a relationship, because here's the thing. Relationships are not guaranteed. Even if you're married, even if you've been together for 40 years. And I know this because my mother is a divorce lawyer. I have grown up watching relationships and marriages fall apart. And the last thing that you want is to have no idea who you are without this other person. It is so important that not only you work on your relationship together, but that you also have some separation to do things on your own so that you don't feel held back in the long run. You don't feel trapped and you don't feel alone because you've lost all of your other relationships. Number 4, and this one also might ruffle some feathers. That is putting your children ahead of your relationship. I don't have any children. However, again, watching many relationships in my own life, having mom as a divorce and custody attorney, it's not a bad thing to want to give your children love and attention and wanting a really great life for them. But often what happens is the children and all of the chaos that comes on with children, especially once they get to the ages of having sports and theater and all these, and school and all these things where you're running around, your relationship tends to get put on a back burner. And what happens then is over the 18, 20, however many years that you have children living with you, you lose that relationship with one another because you are putting your kids above your relationship for that long. Think about that. Think about not prioritizing relationship for 2 decades. And then your children move out, go to college, get a job, whatever, and they move on with their life. And all of a sudden, you are stuck at home with someone that you don't even know anymore because you didn't prioritize that other person and they didn't prioritize you. It's not a malicious thing to want to take care of your children, and it's almost a little noble to want to put your children ahead of your relationship. But you want your children growing up in an environment where mom and dad love each other and they do choose each other and they always have each other's back and they are a team. Okay, so just don't lose sight of that if and when you do have children, because your relationship is supposed to be until you die. Your children will grow up and move on, and there's not to say that there's not room to put your spouse first and also give your children an abundance of love. Just don't neglect your partner in that process. Number 5 is not being intentional about the time that you have together. This kind of goes to like quality time. Just because you're in the same room or the same home, the same vicinity, doesn't mean you're getting quality time together, intentional time together. If you're both sitting there on the couch watching TV night after night, but you're not sitting there and talking and sharing with each other and talking about your day and talking about where you want your future relationship to go and your future goals and all those things, then again, you will lose that connection with one each other over time. You might not see it in the first 6 months or the first 2 years, but over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you will lose the connection that you have with each other if you don't intentionally prioritize one another. Make sure you do have at least one date night. I mean, ideally it would be a week, but obviously life happens. At least once a month, if not more. Make sure that if you do have children, you are still taking maybe weekend trips or even just a night away, just the two of you. You have to prioritize your time together and not just think, oh, well, we live together, obviously we're spending time together. You must still plan dates and trips and try new things together and enjoy one another's company without phones in your hand. I just heard a really weird sound. It sounds like someone's in the house and I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm a big baby. I get scared very easily. All right, we're just gonna move on to the last one real quick because I'm scared and I want to leave. So number 6 is not setting boundaries. And obviously this can attest to so many different things, but if your partner is acting in a way that is hurting you and making you feel unwanted, undesired, angry, all of these things, but you're not speaking up in an intelligent and articulate way and explaining to them why you are feeling this way, they're going to continue to cross these boundaries. And sometimes it's not even in a malicious way. It could be just because they don't know because you're not speaking up. So when a boundary is crossed the first time, make sure you let your partner know in a way that it makes you feel like, this makes me feel this way. If that partner loves you and you're in the right relationship, they're not going to want to cross your boundaries. They're not going to want to hurt you. So make sure you speak up and communicate that with them in an effective way. I love you guys so much. I didn't want to cut this video short, but I'm scared. So please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like content like this. And I will post this relationship video here if you want to check it out. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to be in a happy, healthy relationship, but you can't do that unless you do these things. I love you. Don't forget to be limitly yourself. Bye.